What's up, guys? Today we have a Nissan Rogue. I believe this is a 2019 model. Quite a smooth ride. We're in here in sunny New York. Now, I'm gonna hop in here for a second. Quite roomy. Nice little steering wheel. Let's start it up. Simple as that. You don't even need to put the key in. But you do need to have the key with you close by. You're gonna open the hood, and you can also open the gas door like that. I will go back there and close the gas door. Looking pretty good. Obviously dusty, but not too bad, not too bad. Do believe this is a 4-cylinder engine. Nice little gas door. Close it up there. Gonna hop in the back here. It's not the most, spotless car in the world, but clean enough. Got a little pocket there. Got some room here. Window up and down. Oh, this one of these pull out. Back down. Hop in the passenger seat next. Throw the key in there. It's a nice car. Turn on the air. It does have air on both sides. Fairly roomy, as you can see. I mean, I'm 5'7", so obviously it's going to be roomy for me. Gonna come around the front and get in and drive it. Dismiss this message. This is how you control the mirrors on the sides. Obviously this has like that. Automatic windows. Fairly standard for nowadays. Lock the windows like that. Turn traction control off. All-wheel drive lock. Sport mode. I'm going to turn that off for now. We're not going to get in sport mode just yet. Trying a new hat camera configuration, so no, it's not going to let me. My camera mount thing is too far in. Some windshield wipers. Turn signals. Alright. Now, start this up. There's a nice foot brake. Foot slipped off. Alright, let's get it started. Put it in the drive. And let's go. Up a little bit, just get a little better posture here. Both hands on the wheel, sport mode. No, I'm kidding. I do like doing both hands on the wheel just for the video purposes, just so you can see what a real proper test drive of a car looks like. Usually you're gonna have both hands on the wheel. Seat back a little. I feel like I'm really close. I hope the camera is angled downward enough so you can see the steering wheel and also what's out there. Got a little visor here. You turn on sport mode. I mean, that doesn't make it immediately feel any different, but we're gonna turn it on and really feel the difference in a little bit here. But yeah, I'm here in sunny New York. Not the worst place to drive in. You guys will be seeing, or you probably have already seen, a video of me driving through Manhattan with a minivan. That was a pretty great experience. It was about 2 in the morning, 1:30. I think it was 1:30, 1 o'clock. Manhattan's always going to be packed and, cluttered no matter when you go, but it was a nice experience. Drove through Midtown, you know, got to experience it. Didn't get honked at a single time. Got to drive through the tunnel, which I've already driven through tunnels, like, you know, the Maryland, Baltimore ones. But yeah, it was really nice, and I'm hoping, I'll turn the AC down, that way it's not too loud. I'm hoping to be able to get a nice little road trip video up, dash cam, like time-lapse footage. Hopefully that'll come up after this video. Possibly before, but I'm probably banking on after. Just to get a little bit of variation in my videos. Coming up to this red light. Nice crispy turn signal. I might end up missing this light. Come on. All right. Very smooth turn. It is a very smooth car, I will admit. I'm not the biggest SUV guy. I mean, I do own an SUV, an older one, so I can't really say much, but they do offer very smooth rides. I can kind of see the appeal in an SUV. You can definitely see the appeal in an SUV. You can carry a decent amount of people, but as far as newer SUVs go, I'm not the biggest fan because they're not the most beautiful, you know, spectacles of engineering, but they're all right. They offer very smooth rides, a decent capacity, pretty decent gas mileage as well. They're not going to be, you know, an Econobox or a nice sedan, but they're going to have a decent gas mileage, especially the SUVs of today, you know. Coming around this beautiful waterside road, lakeside road. Pretty nice road. Got some nice houses on the right side as well. Some nice trees and everything. A lot of manhole covers and other bumps and crap that you can't really avoid on this road. They're all, you know, all around on both sides, and they're all across the road, so it's kind of hard to avoid all of them. I'm sure it's not impossible, but it's probably not very easy either. It's a very quiet ride as well. Part of smoothness is, you know, quiet, chill kind of ride, you know. And this is going to offer that. People who get SUVs aren't the biggest into cars from what I have experienced. You know, you might own an SUV, at least newer SUVs, because there are a lot of old SUVs like Land Rovers, Nissans, Hondas, that, you know, are more for enthusiasts, at least these days, maybe not back in the day. But as far as new SUVs go, a lot of, you know, in my experience, a lot of people who are into newer SUVs aren't really into cars in general, so you're not going to want like a super loud and super rowdy, mega, like super beefed up car. And if you really do want one of those, then it's probably best you buy one of those Hellcat Durangos, because I know those are coming up on the market now, and they're going pretty crazy, if you ask me. I would love to get my hands on one to test drive it one day, but I haven't reached that level of stardom within the POV driving community just yet. But those do seem like a lot of fun. Brakes on this are fairly responsive. They're not super like you press them and you're just gonna go flying forward. You can ease into the brakes, which is my preferred way of braking, to kind of go from a little bit far away and ease in. That way, you know, you don't have to go through so many brakes. You can kind of ease in and get what they call a limousine stop in. Limousine stop. It's where you kind of ease in on the brakes from far away, and when you're coming off the brakes, you know, or when you're getting on the brakes a lot to stop the car, you go smoothly and you're kind of feathering it a little bit, coming off a little bit as you're getting to the stop, because you are going to get to the stop because your foot is still on the brake and the car is going slow enough to where you can stop the car with any amount of brakes, any amount of braking force. So you can kind of come off the brakes right at the end, so as to make that stop a little bit more smooth and that's my preferred way to stop. And I feel like in a car like this, if you have those kinds of brakes that are easy to pull a stop like that in, then you should probably take advantage of it. Gonna come around here. A little bit of a weird road layout. I'm not used to stuff like that out in Florida, but now we can really get to the beef, the meat and potatoes of handling around these corners and up and down these hills. I will turn on sport mode. I'm not sure if there's any cops around here, but I'm keeping it easy. Now with the sport mode, I am feeling, hit the gas and it kind of takes off. It's a lot more responsive than regular mode on this. So it really does live up to the sport mode name. It's not going to be like a crazy, ultimate experience sport mode, but it will offer a decent experience as far as, I'm going to make a right turn. I actually have no idea where I'm going. I don't exactly live around here, but you hear that purring. This is more my speed. Definitely more my speed as far as this car goes. You can really get her purring. It's an SUV, so you're not going to get anything crazy, as I was saying, but it can offer a decent experience. If you're going for an SUV, but you're still a little into cars, then an SUV with sport mode. Ooh, why is there a bag there? An SUV with sport mode might be a pretty good option for you. Now, the only problem with SUVs is you can't really take them on super speedy, harsh drives just because they're more prone to rolling over than other vehicles. I'm gonna make a left turn here. This guy came first, so I'm going to let him go by. I am to his right, but I don't trust these people to really obey the traffic laws. I kind of just go by whoever comes first, even though it is called right of way. But a lot of the time, some people will be like, oh yeah, I came first, so even though you're to my right, I'm still gonna go. And I just don't trust other drivers enough to really follow like the proper rules of the road, because a lot of people don't know the proper rules of the road. What should have happened was I go because I'm to the right. That's why it's called right of way. Whoever's to your right has the right of way. But again, I don't trust people. It's a lot more responsive with that sport mode. A lot more responsive. I'm sure they saw the camera on my head. I had the passenger of that car looking at me all weird. Now, I actually don't know where I'm going because I don't live around here. I'm a Florida man. So I kind of just picking random roads because I understand that a lot of these roads are fairly winding and such. Kind of swoop this around the corner. It does handle very nicely. Again, as I was saying, SUVs tend to roll over a little bit more so than other cars. I think they've mitigated that problem just a little bit in, modern day, but it's not, the problem hasn't disappeared entirely. Going to yield to this guy. I'm a little up, but it's fine. Here, purring in sport mode. Now, I really wish I had this to myself because a lot of these people are driving a little slow for my taste. I'm trying to get a test drive in, show you guys the handling capabilities, but it's fine. A slow drive is a safe drive, as long as you're driving on a road like this. If you're driving slow on the expressways or parkways or interstates, then you're in for trouble. But You know, knowing your car is a skill that a lot of people don't have. You know, you can take the car a lot faster around a road like this than a lot of people think. And a lot of people do tend to be pretty heavy on the brakes when you can kind of slow down a little bit better just by letting off the gas. You know, it's not a manual, so it's not going to slow down a ton, but it will slow down eventually. And it's a little more efficient and, you know, saves your brakes a little bit. Come around this corner. Come around here. Too fast. Thanks. If there's any cops around here, I am screwed. A lot of stop signs. Make sure there's nobody coming from anywhere that's gonna blow that stop sign. You gotta be a little weary when you drive in New York. I mean, Florida's probably more dangerous in this day and age. You know, the I-4, US 19, 41, US, you know, Cortez Boulevard, Route 50, whatever. But New York drivers are still crazy, so I gotta give them grace and just let them go. Be very weary. Stop a little more often. I might be a little too easy. I know New York, you kind of got to be aggressive, but at the same time, you got to be a little weary because some people might not take too kindly to you being aggressive and or might not know what you're trying to do. So now I'm gonna come up here. Follow this Amazon truck. Going a little slow, but it's fine. The brakes on this are really nice. If you need to stop fast, you can, but if you need, as you know, you saw there, I had to kind of get on the brakes a little bit harder to kind of stop it. But you can also hit a limousine stop like I was saying earlier. The shifting does feel pretty smooth on this. Now, obviously, if you buy this with less miles, it's going to feel a little better. If you buy it with more miles, good luck. But it does only have 52,061 miles. I'm not sure if the dashboard is flashing. I know the camera likes to make, you know, dashboards and stuff like that have that effect. So I hope it's not too distracting from the road, and I hope you guys can see the steering wheel and everything. I'm trying out a new configuration. It's not really, I mean, it's kind of, my hat is being weighed down a little bit, so the camera's not really as high up as I want it to be. It's still kind of resting on my nose, but that configuration where I had it before where it rests on my nose, it gives me a headache. The camera's a little heavy, so it just indents on my nose. I'm gonna make a left up here. The turn signal again is pretty crisp. It's very quiet, so you won't be super annoyed if you kind of just have it on all the time. Like, because if you're waiting at a light for a while and you have it on, it's not going to be too annoying. I know that's a very small problem, but again, as I said, the turning on this is very, very smooth. It's very responsive. It, you know, it's the turning radius. It feels like a nice compact kind of SUV. It doesn't feel like I'm in a performance car, but it doesn't feel like I'm in a big boat, you know, Crown Victoria, Lincoln Town Car, you know, Lincoln Continental, Rolls Royce. It doesn't feel, I mean, Rolls Royce is gonna be more smooth, but you know what I mean? It doesn't really feel like I'm in a boat, but it doesn't feel like I'm in a sports car or a super compact. It feels like it's supposed to, and I like that. If you can kind of hit the goal of what you're trying to do, then you've accomplished something fairly, you know, simple, but it works. It's effective. You shot at what you were going for. You hit the target, you know. Go around this guy. Very small bike lanes they have. Nice, no traffic light there. Kind of got to go off the other one. Really, really great. New York infrastructure and public roads. left up here. I actually do know where I'm going now, which is great, because I know these roads a little bit better. And can act accordingly. Gotta make sure nobody's gonna blow this light and T-bone me. I'm very weary of stuff like that. I am a big driving enthusiast, but I am very weary of stuff like that. You gotta you shouldn't be anxious and like shaking behind the wheel, but you should be behind the wheel with caution and a little bit of fear that something bad could happen. I think that's a fairly healthy mindset. Take it around this corner. Kind of swing it around these bends fairly effectively. Still in sport mode, so it does feel very responsive. Now if I turn the sport mode off, it still is a little responsive as far as, you know, all that goes, but it's not gonna feel as responsive. There is a little bit of a delay in speeding up. You know, it's not as sporty, obviously. It is a sport mode, you know. My commentary is so riveting, I know. But I will turn the sport mode back on. Now, bends like this, you know, you might have to get on the brakes a little bit as to not throw your car to the left and right a little too much. Now, around this corner, I will be going right. It does handle very well. I'm very surprised at the handling on this car. Yep. Green light. We'll get into the left lane up here. Now we're kind of in more town-esque rather than rural roads, but we're gonna get back into that. I hope this video isn't too long, but I am pretty excited to be driving around in New York for a video, so I want to take advantage of that fact and, you know, upload accordingly. We're making a left at this next light. As you can see, I will pull a limousine stop here. Inch up a little bit more. You can kind of ease off the brakes as you're stopping, and boom, smooth. Smooth as butter. I will be getting into the left lane. I should have gone sooner, but I was focused on the limousine stop. I can still go after these people, and boom. It's not as smooth as I would like it to be. Obviously, in a car like a Grand Marquis, you're going to be able to do a limousine stop a little bit more effectively, but in a car like this, you can still hit it because these are built to be smooth, offer smooth rides. Some nice acceleration up this hill. Off the brakes, and boom. It's a lighter stop. You're not going to be, you know, bashing your head against the seat when you stop like that. I'm just going to show you guys. I don't have my foot on the gas at all, and I can make it around this corner very effectively. I didn't have to smash on the brakes. Now around here it's a little tighter, and this guy's kind of stopping, so I don't want to smash into him, but you can still make it around. It's just a matter of how much you're slowing down when your foot is off the gas and how fast, because it was a downhill, so you do have to be wary about stuff like that, but you can still make it around corners very effectively with this. It's not a sports car. It does have a sports mode, but it's not a sports car, so you do have to be wary of throwing it around corners and, you know, not going on the brakes too hard, but at the same time, you know, you shouldn't be smashing on the brakes around every turn and things like that, because that's just ineffective driving. It messes with gas mileage, it messes with your brakes, and overall it wears your car out more so than not. And I think we, as a society, you know, in the United States, really need to teach people how to handle corners, how to go around bends, how to look through corners, how to, you know, effectively stop better, how to pay more attention to everything around them a little bit better. And obviously I'm not perfect, but I have had experience driving professionally. I have had experience in defensive driving courses. I have, you know, I just took it for an extra half credit, but I did take a driver's ed course in high school, which I didn't actually need to take. In Florida, it's not required, because you can get your permit with, you know, just a simple, like, 6-hour video course. And then boom, you get your permit. You take like a test and you get your permit. It's really simple. It's stupid. But I do, and I have years of experience driving so many different kinds of vehicles: automatic, manual, light, compact, you know, big box trucks, right-hand drive, left-hand drive, government vehicles, you know, civilian passenger vehicles. I have a lot of experience in that, so I feel like I can offer a little bit more wisdom as far as that goes, because I'm not the oldest guy in the world, I'm not the most experienced driver in the world, and I haven't driven the most crazy vehicles, but I feel like what I'm saying isn't wrong. A lot of people don't really, and you know, even I, you know, I'm not perfect obviously, so even I have some bad experiences behind the wheel. Even I have experiences like that, but I think it's worthwhile to teach people those principles: how to stop better, how to slow down better, being easier on the brakes, because a lot of people seem to smash their brakes, you know, stab at their brakes, when you really don't have to do that. Even if you're in like the city, you don't need to be stabbing at the brakes and slamming on the brakes all the time. I mean, it's required at some points, but I don't need to be in sport mode for this city driving, so I'm going to take it out of sport mode. But you know what I mean, you're going to require it at some point, but I feel like people are too harsh. And with a car like this, you don't need to do that. The brakes are light enough. It's very light. The car's very light. You don't need to throw it around corners. You can ease it around corners. It's a very quiet, smooth ride, and I think it's a good experience to drive it. It's not a bad experience by any means to operate this vehicle, and yeah. Takes off pretty well even outside of sport mode, so you won't have to worry too much if you're in the city and, you know, you need some of that power to kind of get you going. But obviously it's a newer car, so it's going to have decent capabilities in that regard. I'm gonna come make a right turn up here, because you cannot make a right turn up there. As you can see, very nice turning capabilities. Very tight radius for an SUV, because a lot of SUVs I've seen are a little longer, or, you know, not the best at handling. I'm looking at GMC Denali, but that can also be a pickup truck. I think you can take that back cab cover off, but then you put it on and it looks like an SUV. But this is more of like a combat, more of like a crossover type vehicle. Not sure why we're going so slow over these tracks. Don't stop on tracks, it says. Uphill, it does handle it well. I've driven some automatics that tend to roll back on uphills, or, you know, seem to struggle more on uphills, and that's, I mean, it's a newer car, so it's gonna handle it better, and it's pretty low mileage. You know, 52,000 miles is nothing. So it is a good experience to drive. I would recommend driving this if you ever get the chance, maybe picking it up if you're thinking about, you know, leasing it or owning it or financing it, whatever you're thinking about. It is a smooth ride, and I'm glad I've had the pleasure to drive it today. Oh, great job. Make a right turn up here. This guy's way over the line. Way past it, I should say. handles these bumps very well as well. It's not going to feel too terrible over them. Now, because this is downhill, I will be feathering the brakes a little bit. Obviously, you know, I talked about the principles of slowing down and all that. You know, you can take your foot off the gas and you'll slow down, but going downhill, obviously, that's not really the case. You're just going to keep speeding up for the most part. No, I see. Actually, no, it's on the left side. Yes, I need to go to a gas station. Alright. Now this is where I'm going to end off the video. Oh, the gas is on the right side, so I'm just going to circle around here and hit up a right side pump. Probably really bad. Actually, I was looking for where the arrow was to show me which side it's on, and I couldn't find it, so I thought it was on the left. I just autopiloted to the left side, and it does have a backup camera as well. You know, I'm glad I got to show that. So I usually don't back in to anywhere for these videos or back out, because I don't do it from the house that I pick up the car from, because obviously it's privacy. So you did get to see the backup camera, and obviously it does have radio capabilities and all that, just like every car. But yeah, and this was a fun drive, super smooth, nice quiet ride, nice sport mode, responsive, nice brakes, everything, throttle response. It was all a pleasurable ride over, you know, nice roads and all that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, I'm gonna try to get more access to more cars. You know, I'm gonna have some videos that are kind of repetitive, you know, the road trip and the Manhattan drive. So it's no new cars besides this one for a little bit, but I will try to get access to more cars and such for future videos. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, I'll see you next time. Please like and subscribe. So yeah, see ya.